Hi everyone, welcome to History on Trial. This is Dr. Tracey McCarthy, psychologist, attorney, and educator. We're going to be looking at some very interesting information related to some cultural evidence of Hebrew language and culture and people in the early Americas. We're going to look at some language correlates between some American Indians and Hebrews, and we're going to be looking at some shared customs revolving around family, as well as a potential linkage between America and India. Then we're going to look at some very interesting research that is linked to this entire dynamic related to the current situation. And as we begin our Hebrew in America discussion, we are looking at Ishi. We are going to be looking at some very interesting research from University of California related to the Yahi Indian tribe, and they were from the west coast of the United States. And this particular tribe is considered extinct. It's not clear that that's completely accurate, but that is the general understanding. What we're going to be talking about is a person that was considered the last person standing from this particular tribe. And here you can see the roots of this name Ishi. You can see that it is rooted in this word Ish. And you can see for both the Yahi and the Hebrew that this word translates to man. Now, this is a name that was given to Ishi by the people that found him, and they gave him this name. He didn't have a name prior to that because, according to the narrative, he was waiting to meet his people for them to actually name him. And so instead of having a name from his people, since he wasn't meeting his people were gone, he was given this name Ishi, meaning man in his language. And here you can just see some variations in terms of the meanings and translations for this particular word. And you can see that it means great, mighty man, he, high degree, him that is, husband, and mankind. What's also interesting about this is when typically discussing the ish, I-S-H, as we do, it means in English that which is like something else. In this instance, however, it directly means man. And so this might also change the understanding of the words Moorish and Jewish. Now this provides even more detailed understanding of this word Ishi and Yishi. And you can see that this is the name of 4 Israelites, and this name specifically means saving. And you can also see that it is related to and coming out of Yasha. Now this goes in a little deeper so that you can see here that this name Ishi, Yishi, is specifically related to Judah, Manasseh, and also Simeon. And you can see here that the name specifically means he saves me. And here's an indication that the name Ishi and Yishi also mean husband or my husband, and it's also a salutation of sorts. And here you can see that Ishi is also the name of a deity, and that is indicated in Hosea, and it relates also back to the idea of husband. But we're also going to look at how this might also relate to India. And so you also see some other notations related to where you can find this word Ishi. Now, we previously discussed how there are some similarities running through the cultures, the names, the phenotypes of the individuals in India that have historically been in India and in other parts of the world, namely Africa. We've also seen similarities in Eurasia, and now we are seeing some similarities between individuals in India and those in the Americas, and specifically, of course, the American Indians. In this case, however, this name, Ishi, is used in a different way in India than it is in terms of the individuals who are considered American Indian and those who would be considered of Hebrew culture. Now, that may happen for a number of reasons, and it may be the fact that these are still the same people, actually, but the understanding and interpretation of certain words that are used, those things may change over time. Now, just a quick overview here. The people were known as the Ya people, as in Y-A, Ya. And you had the Yahi, and you also had the Yana. And so the Yana were located along the Sacramento River in a very rocky area. What's really interesting about this, though, is how you have a divergence when you start talking about the meanings or the translations or transliterations of Yana and Yahi. Now let's look at this dichotomy with the Ya people. You see for this one it is Yana, and it means to oppress, to maltreat, perhaps suppress. And so you also see this idea down below of being tyrannical. And here's additional discussion related to this particular branch of Ya people. This name meaning to destroy, to vex, and do violence. What is noteworthy is this dichotomy between the names. And so you have Yana basically meaning oppress, oppressor. And then you have Yasha, which is for the Yahi, and that means avenged, brought salvation, delivered, preserved, safe, help, savior. Now we're going to go back to 1916 and we're going to look at an article in the American Anthropologist. The article looks at the custom of levirate, and it's the ancient Hebrew custom of a man being obligated to marry the widow of his brother. And you're going to see where that was a custom for ancient Hebrews and also a custom for the Ya people in America. The name of the article, if you want to look it up, is Terms of Relationship and the Levirate. And one interesting thing is that the article also touches on the issue of the Melanesians. And this is important because there have been similarities found between different Melanesian groups and also the Americas. And so this is important to note. And so one of the things that the author has indicated is that just as with the Hebrew custom of levirate, this was a custom for the Ya people, for the American Indians. The author, however, does urge caution in terms of interpreting kinship data. While the researcher urges caution in terms of interpreting the data, the researcher clearly indicates a belief in this connection based upon the levirate. And University of California provides an extensive historical record of what happened with the Yahi people, the Yana people. There's an indication that in the 1840s, approximately 400 Yahi people existed in California, and there was a total of 1,500 of the Yana people. There was also the California Gold Rush, and then in 1865, interesting timing, there was a massacre of the Yahi people. And also in 1866, there was another massacre. And then in 1871, yet another massacre. And then in 1870 through 1911, there was a concealment of a remnant band of individuals from the Yahi. And here, University of California provides information about when Ishi walked out of the wilderness and how they interacted with him in the town when he did walk out of the wilderness after being hidden for quite a while. And you can see here that there is a notation related to some health complications. You see in 1911 that he was hospitalized for a respiratory infection. And then you see also hospitalized a month later for bronchopneumonia. And then you see additional information about this continuing hospitalization. And here they have recorded subsequent hospitalizations, and you can see hospitalization for abdominal pain and also for back pain. There was not only a trying to assist the individual, but also a studying of the individual. Interestingly, this name Yahi is not an extinct name. And you can see here that, interestingly, a researcher by the name of Yahi has been doing research on HIV. In 1999, this researcher was looking at genetic mutations related to HIV. Yahi also pops up in relation to E. coli. And in an unusual twist, you see Nuara Yahi being the researcher for the synergistic antiviral effect of hydroxychloroquine and azithromycin in combination against SARS-CoV-2. As some others had previously asserted, these researchers indicated that this combination of azithromycin and hydroxychloroquine actually worked directly against the virus and also against attachment cofactors. They also concluded that these drugs working synergistically inhibited SARS-CoV-2 attachment. And here is yet another article in the International Journal of Antimicrobial Agents, and this is also Yahi, and this is on the structural and molecular modeling studies related to hydroxychloroquine and chloroquine against SARS-CoV-2 infection. Additional research from Yahi indicating how hydroxychloroquine blocks SARS-CoV-2 infection. These findings certainly indicate that there was a Hebrew cultural presence in early America, and this adds to some of the assertions by a number of individuals that these individuals have been in the Americas for a long period of time. Many people, however, are very wed to certain ancestral paradigms and narratives, and so it may make it very difficult for people to entertain other possibilities in terms of ancestral heritage. But people are encouraged to definitely be open-minded about ancestors, because you just never know where those roads may take you if you keep your mind open. Remember, knowledge is power. Take care. See you soon.